Hello viewers, in this video we'll be discussing how to find the range of function, and we'll be using this guide. Here we have a that if we are looking for the range of an even root or an absolute value function or an even power, we can use the following fact: that the even root is always non-negative. So here we use a square root, but it applies for even root. And here that the absolute value is also non-negative, and also that the even root is also non the even power is also non-negative. Then for the second category is this one, where you have a rational function f over x, f of x divided by g of x, or you have an odd root, or you have a polynomial. And here, to find the range, we'll be solving for x in terms of y, then find the domain. Okay, so let's get started with few examples. Now, find the range of the following. So this question is asking us to find the range, but I always like to have an idea of what the domain will be, and I will tell you why. Uh, yes, I'll tell you why later. Now, what is the domain here? For the domain, it's easy. All you need to do when you are dealing with an even root, you know that what take the content, which is the content of the root, x plus 2. This has to be greater or equals to 0, because if it is negative, you're going to have a negative number. So you'll have an imaginary number because you're having the even roots. And so what does this mean? This means that what? X is greater or equals to what? Minus 2. So the domain is actually from minus 2 close to where? To infinity. So you can see this type of domain is unbounded in the sense that you have up to infinity, right? Okay. Now let's go to the main thing, which is the range. So to find the range of this function, all you need to do is you come to here and you see that we are in this case when we have even roots. So just use the fact that what? That the even root is non-negative. So here for range, we will start with the fact that whatever we have, the roots. So this is, you see, this is including the root itself, is greater or equals to what? Greater or equals to 0. So try to know the difference between domain. Domain, we took just the content, but here we took everything, the roots, including the roots. And what is this? This is nothing but y is greater or equals to what? 0. So it means the range is from where? 0 to where? To infinity. Okay. Now, if we look here, you can see that here we have the lowest domain. The lowest value in the domain is minus 2, so it's closed. You can see that here the lowest value in the range is also closed. But you see, the maximum we don't know is infinity, and this is also going to infinity. Okay, now for this one, what is the domain? Is what? This is an absolute value equation or an absolute value function. The domain of an absolute value is what? Is going to be the whole of R. So you can take positive, you can take negative, x can be also 0. So this is the domain. But for the range, this will be what? This will be, since it's an absolute value, we are still in this category A, AV. Use the fact that the absolute value is also non-negative. So this means that x plus absolute value of x plus 1 is always non-negative. This is true. So here it should be y here. That's the function. So we will try to use this to create what we have. If you look at this value, this y here, we have multiplication by 2. 2 is multiplying the absolute value. So we can do the same here. Just multiply this inequality by 2. So this will be 0. And you can see that here there is an addition of 1. So we can add 1 to both sides. So this will be 2 plus 1 plus 1 is greater or equals to 1. And what does that mean? It means that what? This is our y. So our y is greater or equals to 1. So it means the range will be from 1 close to infinity. All right. So let's move to number 3. If you look at number 3, I'll also go ahead to find the domain. This is a polynomial, so the domain is what? Is the whole of R. Then, to find the range, we will use this same here. We also have this, that whenever you have an even power, it's also greater or equals to 0, right? So we will start with this even power. What is the even power we have here? X minus 2 all square. This is also greater or equals to 0. Then we can use this to find our function, which is y equals to that much. So here we can multiply by minus 3. So we have minus 3 x minus 2 to power 2. This will be less than equals to 0. So you multiply an inequality with a negative number, you reverse the inequality. So here you can see we have plus 5 here. So we can add 5 to both sides. So you have plus 5 is less than equals to what? 5. And this will give us what? This will give us y. So y is less than equals to what? Equals to 5. So it means here this is the beginning of the range. Yes. So it means the range is going to be from where? From minus infinity to 5 close. So if you look at the domain, you have minus infinity to infinity, so it's unbounded. So it's fine. We can have this type of range. Okay, so you see there is minus infinity also involved there. All right. Now, for the last one, number 4, let's look for the domain as well. Domain first. For domain, this is an even root. What do? We take what is inside and we set it to be greater or equals to 0. Okay, now this means that what? X squared is going to be what? Is going to be greater or equals to 5. And if you take the square root of both sides, you have this root of 5. And this will be absolute value of x is greater or equals to. What does this mean? This means that x is greater or equals to root 5, or x is less than equals to minus root of 5. So it means the domain, it's from where? Minus infinity to minus root 5 close union. This is, then for this one you will have close at root 5 to infinity. So you can see that the domain as well is not bounded. So you see there is minus infinity and there is infinity. So this is good. Now, let's talk about the range. So for the range, what do we need to do? We use the fact that wherever you have, including the roots, because this is even roots, this is always greater or equals to 0. Then we can subtract 3 from both sides. Minus 3 will be greater or equals to minus 3. And this is nothing but the function itself. This is our y is greater or equals to minus 3. So the range is going to from minus 3 close to what? To infinity. So this is still fine because the domain is unbounded. You see the range is also unbounded. We have infinity. So I hope these problems are clearly solved. So if you have a particular question in mind, you want us to find a range, you can put it in the comment section of this video, and I can look at it in my next video. So in the next video, there will be a series of problems on how to find the range of different kinds of functions. So here we just deal with the first category. So we're still going to talk about the category B. All right. Thank you for watching.